back to TM Nerdy. I am the Maximal TM. This is the final road to Whiplash Wednesday. We had a lot of fun today, a little bit of a change up, but we got through it. And that I'm just going to run through some of the shows that you might have missed through this Whiplash Wednesday day with the PCP Army Bad Batch. First up, we had Nick from Comic Culture. He was at his shop this time and showing a little bit of what he was picking up today, and a little bit of toys as well. Next up, we had Tomorrow Cinema doing an awesome review on the Brothers Grimsby, and it was hysterical as well as great. Next up, we had the Blame Fable show. This was over on Instagram. I joined him for that show. We have the people from the community join us and show off what they got, what they picked up, maybe some toys along the way. And then after that, of course, I had Chatting with the Comic Community, episode 10. This week I had Fable. Next up after that, the show before this one was Big Herm Collectibles and Sam from Sam's Tangled Web. And what a show that was. They talked about Spider-Man villains. And then next week I will have Rock and Robbie from Pop Culture Philosophers for episode 11. So I can't wait for that. But guys, why are we here tonight? I reached out to the writer of Beast Wars, and you guys know how much I love Beast Wars. And if you're new to the channel, I love Beast Wars. Also, if you're new to the channel, subscribe right now. Make sure to hit that like button. And as Big Herm Collectibles likes to say, ding, 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 that notification bell for future videos. So I am super excited to have Erik Burnham, the writer of Beast Wars, on tonight. I'm also excited to have Cryo Prime here as my co-host.
Station.
Oh, how's it going tonight?
Dude, I am stoked. I am so happy that you guys are including me in this. Like, this night's going to be awesome.
And you're not usually a comic reader. You're more into manga and anime, but you do love Transformers and Beast Wars. And when I asked you to be on the show, you went out and bought every single cover of Beast Wars and read it all. So
I own every variant, all of them. I mean, in a single day, I picked up. Well, I can't say that. I don't own the 1 in 25 cover for A. I'm still hunting. But yes, I went all in. Not even just because of this opportunity, but it's Transformers, and I only need so much of a kick to get all the way into Transformers.
Well, we also have another co-host with us tonight. Yes, he usually goes on Whiplash Wednesdays, teamed up with New Comic Book Day, but every 5th week he takes a day off, and today was the day. So I filled in for him, but he's also joining us tonight. Would you like to introduce him?
Well, this man literally brought me into this community, so it's my pleasure to introduce Tomorrow Cinema.
Station, dude. Station. Man, I am so excited that TM brought this opportunity to me and to do it with one of my bros, man. One of my comic book evangelist sons. I dipped him in the waters of Mountain Dew and I baptized him in the ways of the comic book. I am a little disappointed you don't have that 1 in 25 yet, Cryo, but you know, it's all good, brother. It's
I know.
all good.
I'm smacking myself.
Oh, guys, you don't even know. I mean, I know you guys know, but the chat is not even ready. They don't even know what we have in store for them, right? Because they hear us talk about Beast Wars. They're constantly like, Beast Wars, truck, not monkey. You know, a bunch of freaks out there. But the fact is, the man that we've got tonight, not only is he pumping out Beast Wars on a whole nother level, not a different level, not like a level where you're just like, oh, this is just an adaptation in name only. No, this is true Beast Wars action, man. True to the character, true to the spirit, and true to the story. He is also a writer of almost every. If you are a nerd and you like anything pop culture, this man has worked on that license. All right. He's done Back to the Future. He's done Spider-Man. He's done Ghostbusters. He's done TMNT. And you know what? He's here tonight. Let's bring him out. We've got Erik Burnham.
Hey, fellas, how's it going?
Hey, dude, I'm so happy you're here.
I'm happy to be here. It's always fun to feel like I'm getting out of my my hole in the middle of the country, even though I'm still here.
Oh, we have that in common. I'm actually in Cambridge, so I'm not too far away from Minnesota there. So
oh yeah,
I'm literally on the other side of the border in Wisconsin. I'm about an hour and a half away myself, so I know the feeling too.
We're not trying to scare him away, Cryo. I told you to leave that Wisconsin stuff to yourself. Goodness gracious.
Oh my goodness.
I come from an island all the way in Canada. Prince Edward Island, people like to call it Krakoa.
Oh God. Okay, well there you go.
So I'm so excited to have you here tonight. I was introduced to your work from Beast Wars. I grew up with the TV show. I loved it. I love the direction you're going with the book.
Oh, thank you.
Like, I want to get into some other work that you have done in the past. Like, let the people know.
Sure. Gosh, boy, it's a ton. And now that's dropping on me, I'm just like, but I started in creator owned, and then I worked with Gene Simmons, a thing, also Kiss. I worked with, I did the A-Team. I did Ghostbusters, Ninja Turtles, Galaxy Quest, Back to the Future. You mentioned a bunch of these. Spider-Man, Scarlet Spider, New Warriors, Red Sonja. I feel like I'm forgetting something, but, Vampirella. There's just a bunch of stuff. And, it's really better than working. And I've enjoyed every minute of it, and so much so that I'm probably forgetting something, like I said, which is embarrassing.
So working on Vampirella, did that change your life?
It was definitely something I was surprised to be asked to write. It was anytime I get to write something new, it's a fun challenge. So yeah, I guess in that way it did change my life. It made it a little bit that much better.
The way I hear it, Vampirella changes lives. So
yes.
Do you have a question, Shamaro?
Yeah. So with all of these licensed properties, I mean, that's got to be kid at a candy store, right?
Oh, absolutely.
What's your favorite fandom that you've been able to write for?
It's by a mile. It's Ghostbusters and Spider-Man, the two together. I can't pick just one. Ghostbusters has been a long time favorite, and I loved getting a chance to write them, and been writing them for so long. And Spider-Man, just because, I mean, that's been my favorite since I was, able to read. So it was just it was a blast able to write them a little bit in the Marvel Action line, the all ages line for IDW, and then in the actual Marvel universe. Although the one panel I wrote with actual Peter Parker Spider-Man, I didn't give him any dialogue, and I was kicking myself. I said, a talkative character, one you wanted to write your entire life, no text.
No, that's what I was worried my portion of this interview with you is going to be. I was like, when TM and I have been talking about trying to talk to you forever, and then when he announced it, I was like, I'm not going to be able to talk.
You're doing a great job, Shamaro.
That's because I get nervous and I don't know how to shut up. I'm gonna be quiet now unless someone else asks a question.
All right.
So how are you writing Beast Wars? Were you a fan as a child watching the Beast Wars TV show?
You know what? I wasn't, but only here's why. I was a fan of Transformers as a kid early on, the G1 stuff. That came out right at the sweet spot for it. Beast Wars started a little bit after I graduated from high school, and I was living in an area where I got no TV reception. So I was aware of it, but I wasn't able to watch it because there was no signal carrying to me. Last year, when just before the lockdown started, when I was bored and had nothing to do, I was flipping through the streaming channels, seeing what was on. They've got Beast Wars. I've heard of this. I'm going to check this out. I'm watching it, and I'm laughing. It was definitely different than I was expecting. Some of the jokes were, well, that's really kind of an adult joke for a kid's show in the mid 90s. But it made me chuckle. I got a kick out of it. And I emailed my editor, Tom, who was also on the Transformers books, and I asked him, if they're going to do anything with it. He goes, funny you should ask. They were planning on doing something for the 25th anniversary, like everybody knows now. And he asked me to turn in a pitch for it. I was pitching against several other people, and initially, what I had done, what they had wanted was something that was a lot closer to an adaptation, closer to exactly what you see on the show. Just, polished up a little bit for the 21st century. I did that. They liked it well enough. And then they said, we've changed our mind. Could you maybe throw us some ideas of what you'd do if you could, change things however you wanted to? So I did that, and they liked it. Hasbro liked it, suggested a few tweaks, and we ran from there. But as much as me not being a fan to begin with, I have been getting a kick out of the episodes that I'd gone back and watched, but now I've been trying to not watch too many of them so I don't take, too much from the show or not enough from the show. It's a weird balance that I'm trying to figure out here.
Yeah, you want to make it you want to kind of serve the fans of the original show right, but kind of throw your own spin into it. And I applaud you for doing it perfectly. As being a fan, a huge fan of the original series, you've been doing this series justice.
I appreciate it. Yeah, no, it's we don't want people to say, well, I've seen this before already 25 years ago. I know exactly what's going to happen. But I don't want it to feel nothing like that either. So like I said, that's the tightrope that comes with licensed adaptations.
So we got a question from Missing Link, Station Missing Link. How's it feel to be writing Beast Wars while they find live action movie is announced?
Oh man, well I was just like, hey, this could give some juice to the book, hopefully. No, I was excited. I'm interested to see what exactly they're going to pull off from the property for the new movie, and how they're going to integrate it, and how they're going to introduce it, and if that's going to cause Hasbro to tell me to make any changes to the book. Well, we're doing this in the movie, so what we'd like you to do for a little bit of corporate synergy is to maybe introduce this element or this character trait or this thing. So that I'm kind of curious about, because that could happen. Or they could just say, don't worry about the movie, just keep doing what you're doing. So, I mean, until I hear from them one way or the other, that's one of the things on my mind. But no, I'm at this point, I'm just like everybody else. I'm really curious to see what they're going to do in the live action movie, and can't wait to go see it.
Ron Perlman's going to be Optimus Primal.
Just saw that today. Yeah, that's going to be cool.
Yeah, should be good.
Mm-hmm.
Prime, do you have a question?
Sure. It gonna kind of lean to Beast Wars, because as the introduction for me was stated, for the last, let's say, 15 years, I've read almost exclusively manga and anime based stuff. Mm-hmm. The Beast Wars comic run is literally my second foray into, American comics. So first off, I'm loving it. You've got me hooked.
Oh, thank you. Yeah.
So my question actually kind of leans more towards this. I'm curious as to why you chose the two new character molds that you did. Mm-hmm. What drew you to these? Because this one specifically was a gift from my grandma when I was 9. So this one is actually quite sentimental. Mm-hmm. So when I saw Scold, I loved her already.
Yeah. Okay. Well, here's what we got going on with that. First off, we wanted to get there are a whole new ball of fans with Transformers, whole new generation, and there are a lot of women, and there are a lot of people who just want more lady bots into the property. So the editors are aware of this, and they're like, look, we can't wait for 6 months or more until we get Black Arachnia in here to have women in the book, female characters in the book. We should add some new ones, because why not? So I said okay, and I came up with a couple. And we batted it around. We batted around names and ideas, and Nyx and Scold were what came of that. Coming up with what they were going to look like. Josh Burnham, the artist, he leaned in a lot to borrowing from the past, homages and stuff. So a bat, yes, I was aware that Optimus Primal was initially a bat, and he borrowed a lot from that original look to make Nyx what she is. Scold, not entirely meant to be Snapper. I wanted it to be kind of a different turtle, but yeah, no, he leaned into Snapper's design as well. I mean, I'm not mad at it. I was turtles are cool. I wrote Ninja Turtles for another reason, man. I'm like, this would be cool. Just have it like a tank, just an atypical female character. It's not something that most people might have gone with, and yeah, he leaned into the stuff he knows, because Josh is a massive super fan. He and our editor David Marriott know stuff chapter and verse off the top of their head. They don't have to look anything up. They're like, no, this won't work because here's why. Dot, 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 dot. I came up with what I would like, and Josh ran with the visuals from there. And the personalities have been, kind of established and building out as we go and changing a little bit as the interactions with the other characters take place. So like I said, it really comes down to the simple. I'm babbling a lot, but it's as simple as, I thought turtles are cool and would make for a fun visual and a fun villain.
I got another question from. Sorry. Oh, we have another question from Missing Link. Who's your favorite Beast War character and why? Is it Rat Trap?
Why is it because Rat Trap's voice in my head is Steve Buscemi. That's why he's no. No, my favorite is Rat Trap is up there. I enjoy writing Nyx. I enjoy writing Dinobot a great deal, and it's weird because the favorites that I have to work on aren't necessarily the favorites I would have as member of the audience. And yeah, Rat Trap would be my favorite as just a straight up member of the audience. He's right. Because Rat Trap is snarky and I kind of draw to that as a character. But yeah, as far as writing stuff, I've been having a blast with you. I've been in Megatron and Dinobot and Nyx, has been surprisingly, even though she's an original character, it's been surprisingly fun to write with Dinobot. It's kind of a Wolverine Kitty Pryde thing that's popping up between those two.
Sorry for cutting you off there earlier there, Crowd Prime. You had another question?
Nope, I was just going to finish the statement with I like what's been done.
Oh, well.
The character mold. So,
again, appreciate it, yeah. It's a funny thing because, Scold being there doesn't prevent Snapper from showing up later, and that might be an interesting thing as well. So who knows?
Right on. So, what was your favorite series to write? I know you've done a lot of series so far. You listed off a ton. What was, your favorite to write, and which one would you go back to?
Let's say Ghostbusters is still the favorite. What do I go back to? I really would like a longer crack at Spider-Man. I would love to write Galaxy Quest again. There's some stuff I'd like to do with the supernatural elements of the Ninja Turtles that have been set up in the IDW books that I'd like to go back to. Really, there's nothing that I don't want to go back to because I had fun writing everything I wrote. And, I'd like to have more fun and get paid to have that fun. So, but Spider-Man would be the top of the list. He is, he was a hoot to write. I would just like to have a little bit longer crack than 3 issues.
So how long until we get the Back to the Future Beast Wars crossover? I don't even need it to be a massive crossover. Just like Doc and Marty in the background of a panel with no explanation would be perfect for me.
If only I could make that happen. Just the background stuff. I had to argue for the back in the initial Back to the Future series. I went back and forth for weeks over sending Biff into the dinosaur age. And they finally approved that. I had to convince Bob Gale that it was a good idea. It was, but I like to do crossovers. I'd like to see what kind of fun I could have with the Beast Wars characters. But they just did a Back to the Future Transformers crossover, so I'd probably, if I had to pick, I'd probably pick something different than Back to the Future just for that reason. Just because they've already, just recently. In fact, I think it either just ended, or they still have one more to go. But yeah. So I'm not sure who I would pick, but there's some other interesting ones that would be fun to throw up against the personalities. I just like something that would clash a little bit more with the folks we've set up.
So I don't know if it's going to be a comic, but they just announced a Transformers Jurassic Park crossover.
Oh, geez,
figures.
yeah.
Megatron's getting retooled for the T-Rex, and there's a new Jeep for the car.
JP93.
Oh man, that right there would be just get some actual. What I've been dying to do here. This is a thing. It's sort of a tangent, but in a way, I just was trying by hook or by crook to get the original Dinobots in Beast Wars, just figure out a way. I said, well, it's other time travel. We'll figure it out. And I've been shut down, but I'm still now that you say Jurassic Park, I'm like, but the Dinobots in Jurassic Park, yeah, I make that come on, yeah, that'd be great. I'll have to shoot off an email after this.
If Spike in My Little Pony gets to play with Grimlock, then you should be allowed to play with Grimlock as well.
Yes, I didn't get to write enough Grimlock. I did a Transformers Ghostbusters crossover, and I got him in there just a little bit, but it's never enough because he is one of my all-time favorite Transformers. So
great character.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have any property figures in front of you when writing that particular book?
What's that?
Jarek Magnus asked, do you have any property figures in front of you when you're writing that particular book? I'm not sure if he's talking about Beast Wars or...
Yeah. Do you have action figures? Like, what do you use for inspiration? I think.
Right. Okay. See, that's. I was trying to figure out if that was the question or not. I have. I used to. I mean, a lot of the action figures that I had have been put into storage. Now I have small, just little tchotchkes that I can fit around my desk, and I don't have any Beast Wars stuff yet. But I've been haunting the toy aisles because those new figures look pretty cool, and I wouldn't mind having one or two of those, lurking behind the monitor while I'm writing.
Yeah.
So, get me that Megatron, get me that Optimus Primal, I'll take it.
I know Chamorro had issues with how you're defecting Dinobot and stuff, how it wasn't done sooner, and that is that the way that you like to do it, like defect him that way, make it not just like, because in the first episode he defects right away.
Actually,
we get a story of that.
Actually, TM, my issue was that there wasn't enough time for the defection, because here's my issue, Eric. I'll just explain it here.
Sure.
Okay. I love what you're doing with Tarantulas. I love the menace. I love that he doesn't venture into caricature, like, because he could easily do that. He's very menacing in your book. I like the Ronin nature of Dinobot, all that carries over from the cartoon. Mm-hmm. But why go on a mission with Tarantulas if you're going to defect the second Tarantulas does what Tarantulas does? I would have liked to see more time for that. Yeah. That wedge, that splinter to happen so that they could separate. Was my point.
No, that makes sense, and it was weird because I might not have even padded that in there at all, except they asked me to make the first couple episodes, just the Dinobot defection and such like that, into the first arc. So you might have not even gotten that much, but you're right, you're not wrong. I liked I wanted it to be that he was feeling uneasy from back in the first issue, when they were robbing the place and Pterosaur was being Pterosaur. Mm-hmm. So Dinobot is just like, I don't like this. And that was really just the final straw, more than Tarantulas being Tarantulas. It was just, okay, you know what? That's 3 strikes. I'm out of here. Megatron surprise. It's just, I don't need this. And Nyx being there was the inspiration. She goes, okay, well, she seems a little bit more cut from the cloth I am. Maybe they all are. I'm going to go look into this. And, pacing can be weird sometimes. The right amount versus the wrong amount, that's razor thin. So I get what you're going with there, and I don't disagree with you. But, sometimes it's just, get it done in the time you have and hope that it works out in the way you intend. And sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't.
Well, and I love the follow-up. I really like that. The quasi-quiet moments between Nyx and Dinobot in the third issue are some of my favorites, and so it definitely paid off in the end, and it gave me and TM a lot of content to go back and forth and argue about. So
there we go, and argument, man. That's what I'm here to provide. It's crazy. Like I said, I just did the lettering draft of the fixes to issue 6, so I'm just like, that's fresh in my head, and I'm about to say stuff about it. I'm like, wait, no. That's not out yet. Don't do that. Oh. And because there's a fairly big moment that I got on there, and I'm just like, I want to talk about this. I can't. They don't know what I'm talking about. It would really blow a couple of surprises. So I better.
Well,
no spoilers.
We'll be happy to have you again next month. Talk all about issue 6.
So this is going to be an ongoing series, or?
What it was is 12 issues were for sure, And then after that, they're just going to, I mean, as is the case with comics, they're going to, it's an ongoing, but they'll decide by sales, whether they're going to continue it or not. And then it'll get approved in blocks of how many of the issues they decide to put it in blocks of. We're going to extend it for 4 issues or 6 issues or 12 issues. I don't know. But right now, yeah, the plan was from Go, ongoing is the hope. But if folks aren't digging it for whatever reason or not picking it up, then obviously, and that's how the business works for just about everything. I wouldn't be the first person to have long-term plans cut off because the book wasn't going anywhere. But so far, things look good to keep going. Not quit.
And trust me, guys, you guys need to be picking up Beast Wars. Like, give it a shot, pick it up. Let's help these sales go through the roof.
Yeah.
Cryo, do you have another question, Cryo?
Sure. Now you mentioned, the powers that be basically forced the Dinobot thing to happen earlier. So with that, out of the titles that you've been able to write for, what one gave you the most freedom to do whatever you wanted with?
Ghostbusters gave me the most freedom. They after I did a crossover, a non-crossover crossover Infestation that IDW did about 10 years ago, where they had a running thread go through the books of Ghostbusters, G.I. Joe, Transformers, and Star Trek. Now they did this; they could have a crossover without crossing the stuff over, because that's a lot of lawyers, arguing who can do what and when and how do you reprint it. But everything was kept to itself, except for the introduction of the zombie character and the vampire character. And there it was, the first issue I wrote, and Sony Ghost Corps had a bunch of notes, and I got the notes in there. And then the next issue, I turned in something that, just a draft. And I said, okay, I'm going to wait and fix some of the things that I want to fix until after I get their notes. They didn't have any notes. So I didn't fix some of the things that I meant to fix. But going forward, when that miniseries did so well that they went to an ongoing or series of ongoings with Ghostbusters, and Sony was happy with how I was with the characters, and they had maybe 2 or 3 changes over the decade that I was asked to put in. And so, I mean, that was the least. Ninja Turtles hasn't had a ton. I think of only one issue that I had a whole lot of revisions on, because they were very picky about where it was going to come in the middle of a crossover. It was the Karai micro series one shot. And so, I mean, that was like 5 or 6 drafts of the issue to get it where it needed to be to fit into the big grand plan. And then after that, surprisingly enough, Hasbro has been very, very good about the stuff on Beast Wars. They have told me no about 5% of the time. They've given me great reasons why the no was there. They give me suggestions on how to, work around whatever the no would be. And so, I mean, it's just been a great experience with Hasbro.
Awesome.
That is awesome that you bring up Infestation, because Infestation, and it's not because of Infestation, but that was the timeline that I actually dipped away from American comics. I think that's the Transformers Infestation is on my shelf, and it's like the last thing I bought.
Big Herm Collectibles likes to say that he's picked up Beast Wars, and your brilliant writing has kept that book in his pull list. So thank you.
Oh wow, thank you, I appreciate that. Yeah.
So speaking of the Karai one shot, 2 of my favorite of the micro series stories that you've written, Splinter and Baxter Stockman. Of those 2, they both play with this dynamic of fathers and sons. Like, was that something intentional when you thought about those characters right off the get-go? Was there something personal in life that kind of had you in that mindset? Like what got you narratively to that place?
Well, Ninja Turtles is very much a family story. Fathers and sons, grandfathers and granddaughters. It's all in there, and it has been from how Tom set up the IDW series. And I just wanted, with Splinter, it was a case of, I think everybody has a vision of, well, it's not everybody, many readers have a vision of Splinter as he's just, he's the stoic old master, the father, he's wise, maybe he chuckles, humorous, just, he's very, very cooled down. He's the Leonardo. He's closest to Leonardo because that's the kind of character he is. I said, well, maybe what if he wasn't?
Mm-hmm.
I liked the idea of just making him as a young man, just a ridiculous hothead, and closer to what people are used to with Raphael. And I just, because people change, people grow, and people aren't the same at different points of their life. And at the same time, fathers also have a lot in common. Or parents have a lot in common with their children, different aspects of the mom and the dad in each child. And, sometimes they mix and mingle together. And that's what came together with that. Baxter Stockman. Boy, the father and son thing wasn't as intentional with Baxter as was with Splinter. It just kind of grew organically because, again, that's kind of what the franchise is about. The familial attachments and how they go in against and around the world.
Mm-hmm.
It was funny. They initially, one of the things in the Karai one, they were like, this one's got parent issues again. Maybe we should get away from that and try this. Several drafts. Okay, let's get back to the parental thing because that worked.
Yeah.
and again, it's just it fits so well with any of the Ninja Turtle characters. They're parents and or children, and the dynamics they're from. That's where a lot of the drama comes from, over and above the science fiction or the martial arts stuff. It kind of permeates the design of the universe, and I like that a lot.
Oh, and speaking of the martial arts stuff, Eric, when you're scripting those actions, your stories, your Ninja Turtle stories, the action sequences are phenomenal. I mean, the in Baxter Stockman, the flybot, the drone fly thing,
Flyboard,
yeah, all of those sequences when Splinter, all the times when it's cutting back to the present and Splinter is facing off against an army of folks. I mean, so well written. How do you script action like that? I mean, because we're the readers, we're only seeing the finished product. Like, like what is that like to communicate that to your artists, and how does that all work?
Well, it's tricky. sometimes to try and get it in my head right, I'll sketch it out. Most of the times I just go for broke and write it, what I'm thinking, into the scene action. And then from there, it all depends on whether the artist feels like following what I wrote in the scene action or making it better. And both have happened. And sometimes, it's just like, 10% of what the scene described and 90%, hey, this is going to look really cool on the part of the artist. So, when you see stuff in there, I remember in the Karai arc in Ninja Turtles universe, there was a bit when I had Karai fighting Natsu. And I wrote in there 100%, have Karai give a a Guile like flashy kick, you know what I mean? Just that. So I mean, and Sophie drew that in. So that kind of stuff can make it in, but really, when it looks good, I wish I could take more credit. That is Corey Smith, that is Sophie, that is Andy Kuhn, all of them just killing it and making it look awesome on the page. So, I mean, I do what I can to try to not have them draw the same thing a million times and come up with new things for them to draw for the action if I can. I don't like to be one of the writers who I have friends who do this. It's just like action scene, 5 pages, have fun. No, that's not good. I want it to build and fit with the dialogue so that the drama continues and makes sense as it goes. And sometimes what I come up with works real well with minimal changes, and sometimes the artist has to jump in and make it shine. But for the most part, this is me expanding an answer from the artist make me look good, which is really what the short version is.
So you said you had a love for Spider-Man. Is there any current comics that you're reading right now?
Oh boy, living far away from comic shops makes it harder. And the one thing that happens when you start writing comics is you start reading them less because you just lack time. But I have been dipping back as I can into friends' work. So my friends Mitch and Evan, they're drawing Strange Adventures right now. So I'm keeping up on that. It's good stuff. I'm only a couple of issues behind. Don't tell them. I've been picking up trades and Kickstarters from friends. My friends Jason and Ashley, their Jupiter Jet series has been great. The second trade of that just came out. My friend Eric Schultz and her book Deadly Bouquet is coming out here pretty soon. I got an advanced read on that. That was fantastic. And I mean, as far as superhero stuff, it's much harder to get to those things because I don't get to the shop. But yeah, I'm looking forward to the new direction on Spider-Man with Ben Reilly coming back. That's going to be a lot of fun. Some good stuff there, and I think I'm going to try to jump back in a little bit heavier when it comes into that. But yeah, no, it's embarrassing when you get the "what are you reading right now" question, because I mean, I know I'm reading stuff, I know I'm picking stuff up, but I always just go blank because I'm thinking, yeah, but here's what I'm writing, and that's kind of taking up the front of the brain. So I really should write down like a crib sheet so I don't forget when I'm on the spot. When will I learn?
Oh, I have a notepad just full of things that I write down as we're doing these interviews. I have like just a backlog of books that I have to pick up and check out.
See,
and
it's yeah, that is exactly the notes. I need the notes. I need to remember to keep the notes.
So speaking of, you got your friend whose trade was coming out, which reminded me to ask you, when are we going to get Ghostbusters Year One in trade? Because as much as I want to read it on eBay, it's like $120 for the set.
Wow,
so like,
really?
Yeah.
Holy cow! Man, I got some copies. I better.
Yeah.
I don't know. I wish I knew.
eBay now.
Yeah, exactly. No, I wish I knew. I don't have anything I know of that I can speak of as far as what's going on, is when stuff is coming out and when it's not. There was delays from COVID, of course. There was delays because of the movie being delayed. There's other delays that just come, with two companies working together. And so as much as I'd like to say, here's when it's coming out, I literally don't know. And if I were to guess and sound like this is exactly what's happening, then I run the risk of either IDW or Sony or both being irritated with me. And I like working with them, so I'd like to continue.
Yeah. Well, then let's put a pin in it.
Put a pin in it. Yeah, exactly. So I mean,
it gives me an excuse to go bin diving. I will find these books.
Yeah. At least I wish I knew more.
Oh, I love the concept. I like the idea of diving further into Winston. I like the idea of looking at some of these little lines from the film and like seeing what those stories, how they actually played out. I don't know. I'm really, really excited to get my hands on that. And I wish I wouldn't have slept on floppies. I wish I would have picked them up.
It happens, man. You never know when something like this is gonna pop up and make things a headache. So.
Yeah, I'm super excited. Now that I know that you did Back to the Future, I want to go back and check that out. I know Fable, he's in the chat tonight, Station Fable. He's going to probably be trying to track that down as well. And a lot of people here tonight are going to track down Ghostbusters and TMNT. I know Taki loves his TMNT.
Oh, yeah. No, there was one Back to the Future story that was a bit odd there. I did the adaptation of the Telltale game, Citizen Brown. And what it was is I had to figure out, there was 5 issues, 25 pages each, and I had to figure out a way to get 2.5 hours worth of story into one 25-page chunk. And so I'm watching the cutscenes, and I can get rid of this, I can condense this, I can make this work, and I get it all in there. And I got 25 pages, and it makes sense, and it reads good, and it's done. And I turn it in, and then I wish he would have said it sooner. Bob Gale's like, "This is awesome, but we don't have to be beholden to the video game. We can change things. We can do things that the video game couldn't do. So let's do that." I'm like, "Bob, why didn't you say this a couple of weeks ago?" And he was right. And, making the changes made it more fun and different and better. I just kind of wish he would have done it before I'd done all the work in finishing the first issue. But yeah, no, it was a blast to work on. So yeah.
That's awesome.
Brad, do you have any more questions?
Sure.
Okay.
Again, a lot of my questions probably lean towards Beast Wars, but go ahead and apply them wherever.
Sure. No.
How much of a deep dive do you do because you said that you missed Beast Wars as like a kid growing up. So how much of a deep dive do you do in these franchises before you write them? Because at least with Beast Wars, there are a lot of nods that I appreciate towards the show that were like one-liners, like Manuel was talking about with Ghostbusters.
Yeah, no, I research as deeply as I can. If I will go back and watch some of the episodes, if something specific has come up that I've got to refer to and keep it accurate. This situation happened in the show, and I'm going to refer to it, so I better go back and refresh myself. But I dig deeply into the wikis. I ask questions of David and Josh, and sometimes I just get lucky with the right line that I didn't know connected to something. but no, I did a lot of research when I was putting together the pitch for the series, and once there is a lock in on the characters, they're happy with the direction that the characters are, and I understand the direction of the characters. Yeah, sometimes there's just only so many ways that you can go with the scene that makes sense, and some of them will line up perfectly with the show, whether I knew about it or not. Because if you put it together right, it's only going to work, the way it's supposed to work. So yeah, I said I research as much as I can to make sure that I've got it right, but not going too far that I don't that I'm bound and don't have any room to be creative. I guess, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right. So we know you love Spider-Man. So what besides Spider-Man would you like to write from the big two, DC or Marvel?
Okay. I'd get a kick out of Superman. I'd love to write Plastic Man. The Creeper would be fun. Moon Knight would be fun. I have one Moon Knight pitch in mind that would be Lethal Weapon-ish. I think would be the best way to go, and I would have a lot of fun with that. But out of that, I guess, and I'm trying to think. I know there's something else. Tip of my brain. Fantastic Four. Yeah, there we go. Those are some of the big ones off the top of my head that would be the most fun to do. Oh God, Submariner. There's another one. I have a lot of favorite characters. Unfortunately, they're all not all. Most of them are the type of characters you have to be either they're B-list enough that you have to be a massively popular creator to get a hold of, or they're so popular that anybody could do them and sell a book. But there's a ridiculously long line of people that are waiting to get a crack, with the editor, or I should say the editor has a long list of people that they want to work with. So, those are the things that stop it up. Not that I'm going to continue, or not that I'm going to stop trying in some cases, but yeah, there's the superhero stuff would be fun to do. It's been a while. I think the last one I wrote was, outside of the IDW Action was helping Chris Yost on New Warriors, and that was a hoot. I got to write the Eternals, and I didn't think anybody would ever know who they were, and now they've got a movie. So yeah.
That's awesome. Oh my gosh, I want to see you on Plastic Man now. Now I'm going to be thinking about that.
It'd be so much fun.
As soon as you said it, his head just peaked right.
Well, that and Fantastic Four, because you've done a lot of like genre that's kind of fun sciencey stuff too. You know what I mean? And I think the Fantastic Four, you could do a lot in that sandbox. That's really exciting. Let's make that happen. All right. I know Marvel watches you, TM. So
yeah, give me the FF. I'll take them. I'll take them. That'd be great. Although it'd have to be maybe IDW can do the Marvel Action Fantastic Four, because I think, like with Spider-Man, the current book would have to be pried from Dan Slott's Cold Dead Hands, and he's a nice guy. I don't want to pry anything from his cold dead hands, so I'll wait.
So do you have a pitch for Fantastic Four?
I have a couple of ideas of things that I would do. And it's really, nothing groundbreaking as far as the Fantastic Four. It's where else could they go? And when they get there, who would be irritated? You know what I mean? It just, that's the fun of it. And you've got Johnny, he's a jerk. He's young, and he's irritating. And Reed, he's oblivious, so he's irritating. Sue's frustrated with the two of them for being irritating. And Ben just can't believe that he has to be someplace else again. He could be at home. He could be watching TV, beer, football game. You know, I mean, I just I think the fun of the FF is playing with different levels of frustration as fantastical science fiction elements swirl around them. So, I mean, that's how I see it anyway. It'd be fun to get into. But I mean, you just just be that's the fun of characters like this. The personalities, people know the personalities. You know how they're going to react. You just got to figure out what's the fun thing to throw at them to get them to react. Mm-hmm. To react to the thing that they've encountered, and their reactions to the other reactions. Reed is fascinated, Sue's grossed out. Why are you fascinated? Why, it's fascinating. I mean, just the whole thing, and then interpersonal dynamics. It's all this goes a lot faster in my brain than it is me trying to explain. So, I mean, it just, it's an image in my head that goes by faster. So I apologize for the babbling.
Eric's already plotted out like the first 4 issues while he was explaining. So
pretty much. Yeah. Oh gosh.
It's like, I'll be emailing that to Marvel tomorrow.
Mm-hmm. Oh yes. So many planets, so many dimensions. It'd be a blast.
So do you read any indies, or have you read any indies that you really love, like maybe from Image, maybe from Boom?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, like I say, that's half of what my friends have been putting out. Recently I had a lot of fun with Assassination, Kyle Starks and Erica Henderson. Good friends, very funny people, and geniuses. Erica also drew Dracula, which was gorgeous. Alex DeCampi wrote that. I can recommend that for fun, just like grindhousey 70s horror. And it looks great. I read, it's an older one, but Lake of Fire came out through Image. That one I can recommend and suggest people track down. It's a medieval story, medieval and supernatural, and just it's good stuff. So, but yeah, new ongoing series. The last ongoing series that I kept up with that I've fallen a little bit away from was Thief of Thieves. And because I like heist stuff, and that was a fantastic book for that. So I've got to get back and check in and further ahead on that. It was a good book.
So I take it everybody's wondering, like, how did you get started? Like the first book that you wrote, and like when, like how many years ago? Because like it seems like you've been writing forever. Because the quality of story that you tell is just fantastic. I've been really nervous tonight, as you can't tell. I'm not usually this jittery. But like,
well, I mean, I got a touch social anxiety myself, so I mean that's where the babbling's coming from. No, what I did to get into comics was, I worked in back in '99. I was still working in radio, and I got laid off. And then I didn't have a job for a year and a half. So I was on the internet, just hanging out on message boards and chatting with folks, comic message boards, and the old AOL Instant Messenger and all that stuff. Pre-social media, there wasn't any. There was Wikipedia, there was message boards, there was Instant Messenger. That was it. So that's how I kept up with comics, because again, I didn't have a comic shop. It's with a couple hours of me, So I hung out with people and we chatted, and as comic fans do, there was this sucks, that sucks, everything sucks. They used to be so much better. We could do better. Somebody took that as a challenge. We could do better, huh? Okay, well, let's put our money where our mouth is. And a group of us, a dozen or so of us, put together an anthology series. We decided to do it in December 2001. It came out in August 2002, which is ridiculously fast for a 80-page anthology. And that was where my first work came in. It was a comedy short called Nick Landime. And I couldn't think of any superhero thing to do. I was the only person who decided to get into the anthology without, like a universe worth of superhero stories in the back of their head already. So I did, just did a simple little comedy story about a guy who get into a weird situation, and at the end of it, maybe he's making it all up to impress a girl he's sitting next to on a bus. And it was comedy. It was silly. It was ridiculous. And the anthology went over well. So we did another one, and we did another one, and we did 6 of them all told. I did one shot, 25-page one shot with Nick. And from that, the little company that we set up to do these also published the first miniseries, the first work of Tom Waltz, which was a book called Children of the Grave. IDW wanted to collect that into a trade, and they did. And Tom started working with them. There was a good, they got on well. It was a personable fit. And eventually Tom was hired there as an editor, and he took an anthology on. He liked my work on Nick, so he asked me if I'd like to pitch. Yes, I would. Here's a story. I did that. I asked him if there was anything else. We've got a licensed project here for a toy, a tie-in that nobody else wants to do. Would you like to do it? Yes, I would. Here's the story. I'm all done. Is there anything else? Hey, yeah, we're going to do the A-Team, but it needs to be done in 2 months. Would you like to do it? Yes, I would. I took everything that they threw at me. Eventually, Tom got a hold of the Ghostbusters, and I said, I'd really like to pitch this. Could I do that? He took some ideas for me to run them past Sony to see if they would approve those. They did. There was a year of one-shots that the Ghostbusters office did, and after that came Infestation. And after Infestation went over well, came the ongoing series. And when the ongoing series was doing well, Bobby Curnow, the editor of the Turtles, reached out and asked if I'd like to do the Splinter one-shot. That went well, so I got to do some other stuff with Ninja Turtles. And the Secret History of the Foot Clan was wrote with Matteo Santaluco, and just on from there. And the Ghostbusters stuff also got me a brief in at Marvel. I got to pitch some stuff there, which ultimately went nowhere, but I also got to co-write some Scarlet Spider. And it just, like I said, it expanded out from there, from just, being in the right place at the right time, and, being prepared to write the stuff that was offered to me and having fun with it. So that's the condensed version. That from Shooting Star Comics #1 in 2002 to the first Ghostbusters Infestation, that was about 8 years. So it was not a fast process, but at least it worked.
So we do have a couple of questions from Instagram and from Ingles Phantasma. As the king of licensing, what movie / book or TV show would you like to write a comic book for next?
Gosh. There are a couple of fun ones that come to mind. When it was going, I would have had fun working with the Limitless TV show, but that's long since gone and probably forgotten. I'd like to do a Psych comic. It's one of my favorite TV shows. Yeah, there we go. I love Sean and Gus. I would love to do a Psych comic. I've gotten to do just about everything I want, so it's really hard to come up with something off the top of my head that I haven't already done. So yeah, I'll say Psych for now, unless I can come up. Indiana Jones, there it is. That's it. I can't believe I didn't think of it sooner. Indiana Jones. I would love to do Indiana Jones, and maybe with the new movie being made, they'll open the doors to do some more licensing with that.
I on board with the Psych idea.
Mm-hmm.
Like IDW, if you're watching now, please give me
Psych. Give me
you
Psych.
got
yes.
one person that's going to buy that comic for sure.
That's right. Come on, son. That's it.
In Canada. So.
Yes.
The other question is from Jared0913. Are there going to be any more Ghostbusters comics coming in the near future?
Same answer as before. I wish I knew. I'm kind of, I'm ready to go whenever they are, but they are, they have to tell me to go, and they haven't yet. So whether the answer comes tomorrow or after the movie comes out, I couldn't say. But yeah, it's beyond my pay grade. I hate that answer, but that's the truth.
Do you have anything that you could that you're allowed to speak of that you have coming up besides Beast Wars?
Well, I have been working on an all ages Godzilla book, so that's about midway through a 5-issue run. And it's the kind of thing that is meant specifically for middle grade. That's what Toho was looking for a younger kids thing. So some of the reactions is, wait a minute, why is this so kidsy? What's going on here? This isn't very adult. No, it's not. But I got it. So the Godzilla thing is going, and then that's been fun. I'm actually waiting to hear right now on a pitch for an original creator-owned sci-fi middle grade thing again. Some broad comedy. I'm hoping that I'll hear yes, and I can start talking about it. But so far all I know is it's been pitched to the editorial board last week, and I'm waiting to hear back with how that went. And knock wood that it went well. Other than that, I'm working on stuff, but I don't think I can talk about any of the other stuff that I'm working on outside of the Beast Wars and Godzilla. So, it's that weird, frustrating point where I know what irons in the fire are cooking up, but they get mad at me for talking and burn me with them. So yeah.
Let's avoid that. No branding, Eric.
No branding.
Tonight.
Yes, that's just yeah. be a little wincy, but yeah, no. So I'm just while I'm waiting, I'm keeping busy, just doing little cartoons off to the side and then posting them in different places online, Patreon, Twitter, whatever, and waiting until I know more about what my future holds that I can discuss. It's really boring getting answers like this, and I'm sorry.
No.
It might be, but you're telling us that things are going, and that's a good enough answer for just knowing things are happening.
Yes, they are. Hopefully, like I said, hopefully they'll speed up and go a little faster, and I can start saying what some of them are, because there's some fun projects.
Yeah, we don't want you losing your job over telling us something. We want you to continue writing. So
yes,
we're all right with that answer.
All right, thank you.
I'm always paranoid whenever we have anyone from Second Sight Publishing on, because they're the writers they just about an hour and a half in, they have no more filter. They're just like, oh, and by the way, we're crossing over with this.
Do you want to see this spoiler panel?
Oh my goodness, yeah, no, that kind of stuff that can really get you into trouble. And sometimes, even to say that you have something that there's an NDA on violates the NDA. So you never know, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. That's how crazy the stuff can get sometimes.
It was all right. The CEO of Second Sight Publishing was on with us while they're
well, there's that. In that case, it's just clever marketing. Yeah, just clever marketing. Yeah.
It looked okay. I have no idea. There may have been hot irons used after the show, but up until that point, it seemed.
Yeah, we didn't see Marvin for a couple of weeks. Didn't we?
Oh,
that's true. That's true.
All right.
So, Cryo, do you have any more questions?
Honestly, I got a bunch written down, but there was one in the chat that I saw that I'm more curious about, and it's Derek. Are you doing any cons, or are there any social things that you're doing? Because a lot of that stuff is opening back up.
It's opening back up. I've kind of decided earlier before I'm vaccinated now, but I kind of decided that I wasn't going to do anything in 2021, just to be on the safe side. Make sure that any variants that popped up weren't going to be any kind of trouble, which you don't know until they are. So I had a couple of people reach out for some things here, and so far I've said no. So nothing yet in 2021, but I should be getting back to it in 2022. Definitely in 2022 with a convention in Scotland. Knock wood, unless that falls apart. That's the next one on the calendar.
Awesome.
Nice. Yeah, I'm excited. Every time I've been invited out of the country, it's fallen through for whatever reason, and I'm really hoping that this is the one that does it.
So I got a question, and it's kind of like, did you plan to have an artist with the same name and a similar last name?
It's funny because the first time that we haven't met in person, the first time we became aware of each other, we were actually on a podcast at the same time, and that's when it came up that our names are one letter off, and we got a big kick out of that. So it wasn't a plan as far as the artists for Beast Wars goes. There was 5 or 6 different guys who were in the running. I shouldn't say guys; there were a couple of women in there as well. Hasbro knocked back and forth. what they liked about each of them, what they didn't like, and they ultimately decided on Josh partly because of his experience with the franchise, Transformers, and his love of Beast Wars, and just the fact that his art looks just different at a glance from any other Transformers book that you might see on the stands right now. They liked that, and so the name thing was just a fun and happy coincidence that we get to laugh about. But I mean, yeah, it was a painstaking process of basically auditioning for everybody involved with this book to get in there, which I don't know if some readers understand how crazy it is to get on these books. It's not like, well, here's my idea. Yes, immediately. Go do your fanfic and we'll pay for it. You know what I mean? That kind of a thing. But yeah, no, it's fun working with Josh and seeing the stuff. I just got some fun pages in today because he does them all. He gets them drawn and colored before I get a chance to see him, and it's a fun little Dinobot scene.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Dinobot would have to be one of my favorites besides Cheetor. Those were always my two favorites.
Mm-hmm. I'm looking forward to there was a comment that he was a little sedate in his fighting, so I'm hoping that a panel that we have, a couple of panels that we have in this next issue will will maybe quiet that comment down, or that criticism. So yeah, there's some good stuff. Poor Waspinator.
I love Waspinator.
Yeah.
Oh.
Waspinator's great. Rhinox is by far my favorite.
Oh yeah,
of all
we've have some interesting ideas from Rhinox. I don't know if we're going to get them, when we're going to get them in, but yeah, we had some interesting thoughts of different ways to play them. So everybody, we've got some different ideas for everybody. It's just a matter of when we can get them in. The second 6 issues were remixed. I initially had the first 6 issues are as they are, and then I had a different series of arcs planned to build towards something else, and they just got shuffled around, as will happen. We're not going to do this one. We're going to do this one. We're going to put this one here, and then this one here, and then we'll take this one from what would be 2 years from now if everything went the way you wanted it, and we're going to put that now. And so I mean, we'll see how it all runs together. But yeah, so I mean, I had to take out a fun Rhinox story that I was hoping to do, and push it to later. If we'll see, if it happens. Knock wood. Hopefully it does.
So Manny, how excited are you that Rhinox will be in the next Transformers movie?
Oh, I'm super excited. What I love about Rhinox is I love his arc taken from the series anyway. I love that his arc from Beast Wars all the way through Beast Machines. I think it's as a child, it was one of the most tragic hero arcs I'd ever seen. Going from being this stoic example of the perfect Maximal, in my opinion, to what he becomes in Beast Machines is just it floored me from a storytelling perspective as a child. So
as much as we disagree on Beast Machines, that is the one arc that I will fully agree I loved all the way through. The rise and fall was great.
Nice.
So you have some more questions there, Cryo?
Well, I mean, we've talked about a bunch of stuff that you can do and whatnot. What was, for any of the books that you were writing, what was something that you wanted to write or wanted to change but was rejected that you were like really sad about?
Well, I try not to keep the sadness going because I mean you got to keep moving on. But I mean there were there's always a joke that I put in there that I'm proud of, and they're like, we don't like this joke, remove it. That kind of stuff happens more than any big story, because I mean before I do a script, big storytelling beats are taken care of. They're approved and fixed or not. The only bit of weirdness was when I was given a little bit of a rope. I suggested something, and they said, we don't know if we like it, but we're going to let you write it, and we'll decide later. And I wrote it, and it was about a week away from being drawn, and they said, we decided we don't like it. And I had to figure out a way to fix it quickly without changing a whole ton of the rest of the issue. And that involved inventing some new characters and putting them in for 10 pages and trying to make everything make sense that had been, it was something completely different. So, you know, and I suppose I could just say it. I had it was in the Godzilla stuff. I was going to have the Shobijin, the little 6-inch tall Mothra priestesses. I was going to have them use mental powers to have people see them as normal sized people. And they said, okay, we decide that's not going to work. Fair enough. You know, they gave me a chance to prove my concept, and they didn't like it. So I just had to write in some characters to tote them around in backpacks.
And I like that. I like because you know, Godzilla Monster Protection, it's a children's title.
Yeah.
I mean, but as far as like reading with my daughter, what's cool is, one, she loves Godzilla, but two, it's like there is a question there about humanity being worth saying. I mean, there's a deeper conversation, seeds that you get to lay for future conversations. You know what I mean? Philosophically, I like. I really do enjoy that.
I appreciate it. You know, I mean, that's all stuff that, I mean, you know, there's no criticism towards Toho. They've been very particular about what they wanted, and story beats like that are right in there. They want it to be for kids, but they want there to be these kind of questions and thought processes introduced, and you know, hopefully they're introduced in a way that the kids catch on and think about things at the level with which they're at. You know, I mean, that's the hope anyway. But I mean, it's funny what is and isn't accepted sometimes. Yes, in things. It's, you know, I mean, thinking back to some of the fans saying this doesn't work, this would never work in one of the movies. Well, I watched the first movie with Ghidorah, and the Shobijin were on a variety show.
Yeah.
In front, you know, a live TV audience. You know, just, you know, hanging out. We're here. We're 6 inches taller. We're on TV. Nobody's freaked out. Let us use our psychic powers. You know, I mean, it was, you know, I mean, I've seen some wild, crazy stuff in those movies that's a lot more ridiculous than anything we put in. And I think people sometimes forget that stuff was there.
People forget 70s Godzilla happened.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. But yeah, no, I mean, all my answers here, I've just been, you know, it reminds me of how lucky I've been in the projects that I've had, and in the execution of the projects, and how great everybody has been to work with. And anytime I'm asked to change anything or fix anything, it's always the right ask. So I don't feel bad about things I have to change, because inevitably it leads to something better 90% of the time. The other 10% is something just as good.
Well said. It's a great attitude.
And you've been at IDW for a long time, so you kind of built a relationship there as well. So they've given you a lot of freedom, because, as I've said before, this guy's an amazing writer, so they give him a lot more freedom. Yeah,
well, I mean, you know, when you've worked with an editor long enough, they understand what you can do, and that you're not going to make their job harder by throwing some kind of curveball that, you know, is going to get you yelled at, you know, then it just makes everything easier and you get more support. So, I mean, I love working with the guys there, and I'm glad that they still like working with me.
You have any more questions there, Tramal?
Just wondering when we're gonna get like a 30 Days of Night Erik Burnham book. Like when are you gonna go into the real hard horror territory?
The hard horror,
I think that's about what all your fans are thinking. That's the next logical step, you know?
Yeah. Well, I mean, it's funny. Because I mean, horror and comedy are real similar in pacing and you know, build up and payoff. So it's something that I may do. I had Dan Schoening and I, who worked with Ghostbusters, and we did get some creepy stuff in Ghostbusters. Oh, some of the Viking horror we got in the international arc was a little pressing, you know. But now we were talking about doing something a little bit more horror based, like 80s horror, like you know, what if we ground up something like you know, John Carpenter, or some of the American Werewolf, you know, all this stuff that has a little bit of a scary tone and a little bit of a comedy tone, and ground it up and, you know, spit it out into, you know, like a Trapped on an Asteroid movie, you know, Alien except this, or, you know, The Thing except this. We talked about doing something like that once or twice, and maybe we'll get back around to that someday. But yeah. it's something that I thought about, but I'm a scaredy cat. I don't want to scare myself writing something. I'm like, I can't go to sleep because oh god, sleep with the lights on. I mean, and that's probably what would happen, to be honest.
We have a question from the chat. Fable asks, IDW publishes Star Wars and Star Trek. Which, if any, would you rather work on?
It's a good question. I think I'd probably be better suited to Star Trek. There is some stuff with Star Wars that I would like, but it's kind of a weird area of Star Wars. What I would like to write Star Wars wise is Darth Maul, Dryden Voss, Crimson Dawn, the syndicates, the criminal stuff. I'm less interested in the I mean the Jedi stuff is all. I'm less interested in that angle in playing with it. I enjoy watching it, but I'm less interested in writing that angle than I would be with the underworld. That would be a lot of fun for me to write, and I don't think I think I'd be hard pressed to convince Lucasfilm to let me write some of those stories, but that is the stuff that interested me most about Star Wars. So I mean, like, as I was the one person who was like super happy with Solo, because this is all the stuff I love. But yeah, no, that would be these. I just give me a Darth Maul book. He's one of my favorite characters in Star Wars. Just sweeping through and doing criminal underground stuff, and the Sopranos on Coruscant. I don't know, but yeah, see that's where I'd like to be. And but yes, Star Trek. There's a million things that could be done there. That just because they've got so many different iterations. You've got Enterprise on one end and Picard on the other, and there's a million things to go in between. Deep Space Nine would be fun, a fun era to write some stuff in. I'd like to do that. The Captain Kirk stuff would be fun to write. And I mean, honestly, if you read close enough into Beast Wars, I kind of overlaid Captain Kirk onto Optimus Primal. So I mean, and Josh knew. So you look in that first the splash page in the first issue, and you're definitely, if you squint your eyes a bit, you're going to see the Enterprise.
I want you on a Q book, just a micro series, just Q. Yes. I mean, like, oh my goodness, like as you were saying Star Trek, I was like, this man needs to write Q.
I would like to write Q. There was a Q story that I wanted to write for the longest time. That he was the reason that they keep changing their uniforms, and because the leaps in the design of the uniforms are so great. It's just like, this makes no sense from a design perspective. Why would they do this? Oh, Q would be great. Q would be a great reason why they go from a blue jumpsuit into a gold tunic and black pants, or two dresses, or to everything else. I just John Delancey's voice would be great to put down on paper. Oh my goodness. And he's going to be in Picard too, so I'm really excited for that.
Now I've got to spend all this time on social media advocating for a Plastic Man and a Q book.
Yes. Yes. Plastic Man and Q.
Bad Batch, you guys are mobilized, man. That's what we're doing. Hashtag Erik on Plastic Man. Hashtag Erik on Q.
Oh man, gosh. See, now that's going to be killing me. When I'm done here, I've got to go back and finish on Beast Wars 12. But these are the stories that are going to be popping in the back of my mind. What else can I do with Q?
And let's not forget, hashtag, let's get him on Psych.
Yep. Hashtag Psych.
Yes. The new movie's coming out. They need supplemental material.
Absolutely. Man, they come out with a lot of movies every year. Like the series is done, but they like come out with movies like every year. The series doesn't die.
No, I hope it never does, because I mean, it's the plan that I had read is he had the idea for 7 movies that he wanted to do, and I hope he's on the 3rd. I hope he gets through them all.
Dude, awesome.
Yes, please. The next one, I laughed when I saw the title, and This Is Gus, and I'm excited. I'm excited. It's going to be good.
Oh well, Nick says it's already trending on Twitter, so we've got the ball rolling.
All right. Seriously,
Nick.
There we go.
That's awesome.
Mm-hmm. All right.
So you said you love Star Wars and you like Solo. Did you like Rogue One?
I did like Rogue One. Yes, I did. I got a kick, obviously, out of Alan Tudyk, like everybody else did, as K2SO. Love that. But I mean, it sounds weird because the Jedi stuff is cool, but it's also the stuff that takes it's the least interesting part of the series to me. I'm still interested in it, but it's just, I mean, I find the grimier parts of Star Wars a lot more fun. Mm-hmm. So Rogue One certainly counted for that. So it was good stuff.
And have you been you're all caught up on Mandalorian?
Yes, I am. Oh boy, I love that show. It's good. And I religiously, I was right there because I keep vampire hours. So 3:00 in the morning, boom, you know what I mean? And it's time for some Mandalorian. Give me my Baby Yoda. And I'm really looking forward to those spin-offs. They got some fun stuff that they're going to go. I've been enjoying the Bad Batch a great deal. And it also D. Bradley Baker and his different intonations of the same voice astound me every single episode. But I'm really. It's just they've been great. The Mandalorian story would be fun to write, although it'd be tough to come up with something that was done in one that approached the levels of what they were doing on the show. And anything you would do at this point, my bet is that they would make you do it previous to the end of season 3, or season 2 rather. You can't. They don't want you, encroaching on where they're going to go with the future of Baby Yoda. I know his name, but I love calling him Baby Yoda.
Me and my wife said that too. As soon as they said Grogu, I was like, "Are you kidding? No. It's Baby Yoda. Baby Yoda. It's
Baby Yoda." And the whole time, once I saw the name that they named him, I just couldn't help calling him Greg.
Yeah.
And he doesn't look like a Greg, but I guess maybe a Gregory. So it was fun. My one weird Mandalorian story is a friend of mine. I was at her wedding in LA, and she says, somebody else was supposed to be here, but she had to miss it because she's filming The Mandalorian. So I'm like, wait, what is she doing? I honestly don't know, and I couldn't say if I did, And so she was her friend was she was the actress in Queel's suit and Frog Lady. And so I was just like, now that I know that, I just get claustrophobic thinking about somebody behind all that stuff. It just, that's some crazy nonsense. And, but it was fun to try and guess what her friend was doing while I was watching the show. So,
oh man, yeah, I can't even imagine wearing all that stuff because every once in a while, like my foot in my shoe, I'm trying to move one of my toes, and I'm like, why can't I move my toe? And I'm freaking out because I can't move my toe. I can't even imagine being under
that frog lady helmet with the surface. No. I panicked a little bit just watching that, but no, it's gonna be good. I'm looking forward to the Book of Boba Fett. Give me some more of Tamara Morrison. This is gonna be more Ming-Na Wen. It's gonna be a great bit of fun there. And again, the bounty hunter stuff kind of slots into the area that I like. So.
Oh yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we'll see. Maybe I'll get a pitch out there eventually, and that they accept. We'll find out.
If they deny your pitch and I see a My Little Pony crossover with Star Wars, I'm gonna freak out. Okay,
yeah,
I'm gonna let them know. They're gonna get an earful from me.
Twilight Sparkle, Dark Lord of the Sith. That's the pitch right there. That's what we're going for.
Oh man.
Oh man, you just put that out in the universe. Now it's gonna happen.
Yeah.
It absolutely. Just imagine the voice, and she puts a little bit of grit in it, and there the red lightsaber. That's it's happening. It's happening now.
And Tempest is going to be pissed because she's essentially already the bad Twilight Sparkle, but she doesn't sell vinyl toys, so
That's right. We're gonna have cloaks and hoods. It's all come together. It's gonna be scary. Everything that Hasbro has the license to is eventually going to come together in toy form. It's going to. It has to. I look forward to that.
My wife saw the My Little Pony Ghostbusters figurines that came out last year, the year before, and she's like, "Oh, Kyrie needs that." And as much as I hate to say this, I was like, "Yes, my 5-year-old needs that," thinking that's going on my Ghostbusters shelf back here, and it's staying back there.
Yeah, see. Yeah, see, I mean, it's tough, man, because some of these toys, it's just like I laughed the last time I was in the toy store and I saw how many toys I saw with, meant for adult collectors stamped on the box.
Yep.
I was actually kind of surprised that they didn't have it on the new retro Masters of the Universe figures.
Yep.
I was looking at the box and said, okay, am I sure? I'm thinking about buying one, but I want to make sure that I'm not going to get in trouble because it's not meant for an adult collector. That was one of the ones that I had when I was a kid. It was Transformers and He-Man for me, and my brother had G.I. Joes. So we covered, I mean, tens of thousands of dollars, certainly of toys between bought and replaced over the course of several years.
The third Wednesday of the month, I have a toy and collectibles panel on YouTube, and all of us are in our 40s, and it's like we have
some of us.
Yeah, you're not yet, PM, but for the most part, all of us are in our late 30s, early 40s, and we have a child's college tuition worth of action figures to show off every week. So
yeah, I mean, my background doesn't scream exactly that, and that's only about half of my wall.
Oh my goodness! See, I would love to have the space to display just some of the stuff I have. I had to make a call between, statues and toys and little collectibles, and hanging art on the wall. So I said, no, I'm going to hang the art. This is what we're going to go with. I have, I've got some pages from some of the stuff I've worked on, and that just, I mean, I've, some of the original art from friends that I've acquired over the years, or I won a charity auction accidentally at a convention in Indianapolis. I signed on, and then like several people behind me, did bigger bids. So I'm like, okay, well, I'm not going to win this. And I get a call. Yeah, no, we couldn't get a hold of them, or they decided not to. So do you want it? And now I have a Bill Murray autographed Ghostbusters poster. You know what I mean? So yeah, it worked. Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I'm not complaining. I was surprised to get it. But I mean, that's the stuff that's on my wall. I've got a Corey Smith page from the Karai one shot. I've got 2 pages from the Splinter one shot from Charles Smith. He gave me. That's gorgeous. The one with the first meeting between Hamato Yoshi and Tang Shen, and then his time with the Turtles and Michelangelo geeking out over fried green beans. I've got a Chris Samnee Black Widow from before he was on Black Widow. So I mean, this is before he was on Daredevil, before he was Chris Samnee. Yeah, I have a neat drawing from him, a little tiny Chris Samnee Spider-Man. I got a Ghostbusters page from Evan Shaner. I got a couple of activity pages from Mitch Gerrits. I wish he was still doing traditional art when he was on The Punisher, because he drew me in the book. He killed me. And I found out by this way. He says, "So, have you seen the latest issue yet?" I said, "No." "Why?" "You need to look. You need to check it out." And I go there. I look, and it's me and several of other friends, and we've been beheaded, and our heads are hanging upside down. And I look and I laughed because he unwittingly gave me the perfect response. I texted him, "Thanks for the heads up." And he sent me back his angry face for a couple of days, because he knew the pun was his own fault. And I mean, there was nothing else he could be done. But I mean, I've got those, and it's cool. Secret History of the Foot Clan page, and then a page from New Warriors that Marcus Toe sent me, and it was just, they're so cool to have. So that's cool. Awesome. Yeah, and that's why I don't have toys on my walls, because that's what's up. I'm bragging. Yes, I am. I'm bragging.
I would post those too. I would post those too. Yeah. When I was getting ready for the interview and rereading some of the digital Ninja Turtles micro series stuff that I have, and I was like, the scene of Raph and Casey Jones watching a horror movie, I need that for my TV room. Like, we're right by the TV. Like, I really want that just in a big poster size. Like, I want it so bad.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, it's I'm thinking about all the stuff, and I've gotten really lucky with some of the artists I've worked with. But I mean, there's just so much cool comic art out there, and I need more of it.
Yeah.
We all need more of it. Have a little art in life. It's good.
Amen, brother. Amen. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Crowd Brown, do you have any more questions?
Honestly, most of the last question I had written down was what was your dream title, and I think you said Ghostbusters for that. So
yeah, see, it's funny when I start to babbling, I kind of inevitably run into other questions. So yeah, sorry.
No worries on me.
Yeah.
No, this has been a great conversation, Eric. I really, really have enjoyed talking to you tonight, and I think we could talk all night if TM would let us. So I think I'm gonna defer any more questions.
Fair enough. I do appreciate you guys having me here. Thank you.
I appreciate you coming. Like, it means the world to me. I like I said, I don't shut up about Beast Wars. Everybody can attest that. Tomorrow can. Everybody in the chat, there's a lot of familiar faces. They know my videos. They know I go on and on about Beast Wars. Does anybody in the chat have a question for Erik Burnham before we wrap things up?
Insert Jeopardy theme, so I don't Griffin.
So, is there any Marvel titles? Like, have you been watching Loki so far? Or
I have. Yes, I've been watching Loki. It's fun. It's fun watching the Marvel shows and enjoying them, and then going to Twitter and seeing how angry they make people.
Yes,
a lot of fun. That is. I just especially the WandaVision was my favorite for that because everybody had their theories, and then none of the theories panned out, and then they were mad that Marvel lied to them. But they didn't lie to them because they didn't promise them anything. But these were the theories that we thought were going to happen, and then But no, I've been having a lot of fun with Loki, and the last episode, the post credit sequence, the post credits bit was. I couldn't believe what I saw, and it made me laugh and clap. So I'm looking forward to the last 2 episodes. I can't believe there are only 2 more left. But the Marvel shows have been good.
Oh yeah,
good fun. So.
All right. Thank you again, Erik Burnham, writer of Beast Wars, TMNT, Ghostbusters, Back to the Future, guys. Like, he's been writing with IDW for a while. He's done a little bit of Spider-Man work. Please go pick up Beast Wars. Let's get this continuation going.
Yes.
Definitely.
All right.
So I just want to say, station to everyone, happy new comic book day and Whiplash Wednesday. You guys are all worth it. Stay nerdy, my friends.